Hello everyone, of course now we're finally at the point where we can talk about the big signings by the Tampa Bay Lightning as three big extensions happened earlier today, that being Erik, Anthony Cirelli, and Mikhail Sergachev. So let's talk about each deal and then go from there. So Cernak's deal is reportedly an 8-year deal. They're all 8 years, by the way, for an AAV of $5.2 million. Cirelli's is an AAV of $6.25 million, and then Sergachev's is an AAV of $8.5 million. Now, having said all that, let's talk about the one that stuck out to me the most, and that was Mikhail's. So, my biggest takeaway here is, holy cow. I get the term, the length of the deal, but $8.5 million, I just don't know. I don't know about it. And I know that a few years ago I was pretty high on Sergachev, but here we are. And knowing that he is 24, I do know that his offensive game could get better, but you're paying him as a top defenseman. But the thing is, are you really getting $8.5 million worth every year, or at least consistently enough? Because he's streaky, especially when it comes to goal scoring, which I know some blue liners are, and that's fine. But the reality is, I don't know if you get that value, if you get that two-way value every year. Maybe it'll bounce back on me. I know you do have guys like John Cooper that are in this organization that definitely can develop these guys, but I will say it has thrown me off a little bit, and we'll have to see. As for the other two deals, Cirelli's, in my opinion, is a steal. He may not put up flashy numbers offensively, but he's an aggressive forechecker that helps his team regain possession of the puck, and he is just very good defensively in general. And I think for him, being able to get that offense to click a little bit more, not that his offensive game is abysmal or anything, would be big. Because at the end of the day, $8.25 million, not even $6.5 million a year, you add the rising cap, you factor in that he's young. I like this deal a lot, and so I'm really, really hype on this one. Underrated guy, and I think maybe during this run a little bit, started to get a little bit more recognition. I mean, Lightning players get a lot more recognition than most players do, I feel like, but still a guy that I felt like wasn't getting recognition compared to the other players that maybe put up a flashier brand of hockey. But I will say, apparently Cirelli will also miss the next 4 to 6 months due to a shoulder injury, it appears, but short-term injury, long-term deal, Cirelli's probably going to be fine. Your defensive play holds, your offensive game is the thing to worry about. If his offensive game fell off a cliff, then you could probably say it's time to worry, but I think we're going to be okay there. And then finally, if Cernak's deal, according to Jay Fresh, a 25-year-old played a heap of time against the top opposition opposing Tampa Bay and played very well in that time. I don't know if the offense will ever develop to the extent that you'd like, but with his defensive play being what it is, and the fact that you could probably throw him out for quite a few minutes, $5.2 million a year is really good in my opinion. And I know that you look at the simple stats and you say, is this guy worth it? Probably not just based off the simple stats, but you go a little bit deeper, and I do think this is big. Why did they do all this? Got to keep their guys. They've had their championships, but they've also given up pieces as well. You got to keep this core together as long as possible. I know that they did get beat by Colorado pretty badly in that series. It did go to 6 games, but you have to try to keep this thing rolling, because even losing a few pieces, we saw how hard it was to beat Colorado, and now they've lost pieces. You can kind of say maybe we could keep things in the right kind of equation, the equilibrium. But if you lose these guys, Colorado undoubtedly is still the better team if they're not already. Pushing the chips all in, center of the table, you just got to go for it. So this is kind of what they're doing, but for a long-term future, we'll have to see. What are your thoughts on these deals? All three of them are a little bit surprising, being the 8 years, but of course, hey, Tampa Bay went out and made some noise. Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Everybody stay safe, have a great night, and you go love hockey, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.